Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. 90 Day Fiancé. I'm certain Big Ed should not return to the franchise. How his comeback would damage the show's perception. I am convinced that controversial 90 Day Fiancé alum Big Ed Brown should not return to the franchise because his comeback would damage the network's perception. I've been an avid 90 Day Fiancé franchise fan since its inception in 2014. I've watched every spin-off and have expert knowledge of all the cast drama both on and off screen. Big Ed was first introduced on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 Days Season 4, where he traveled to the Philippines to meet his online love interest, Rosemary Vega, in person for the first time. At that time, Big Ed still used mayonnaise to soften his hair. Big Ed is now 59 years old, and his initial appearance in the franchise was in 2020. Before the 90 Days Season 4 was filmed in 2019. Since then, Big Ed, who is a father and a divorcee, has appeared in many 90 Day Fiancé spin-offs, and has been trying to hang on to his reality TV fame. Notably, he was in an on-and-off-again relationship with San Diego native Liz Woods for several years, but they split in August 2023, after calling off their engagement. I've witnessed Big Ed be a villainous figure throughout his time in the network, and keeping him around would not be beneficial. 90 Day Fiancé's Big Ed has a horrible reputation that began with his treatment of Rose. He berated her for having bad breath due to an ulcer, and insisted that she shave her legs. Moreover, he was not honest with her about his vasectomy, and was demoralizing to Rose and her family on several occasions. Not to mention, Rose was 31 years younger than Ed, who seems to have a great affinity for younger women. To his credit, Big Ed is a comical character, and his persona kept fans interested initially. Big Ed next appeared in 90 Day. The Single Life Seasons 1 and 2, where he met and began to date then 27-year-old Liz, who was a waitress at his favorite restaurant. What soured me even more about Big Ed was his immaturity in his relationship with Liz, and the callous and toxic nature in which he treated her. During their relationship, Big Ed also made negative comments about Liz's weight, didn't support her career dreams, and they broke up 15 times throughout the course of their relationship. Big Ed and Liz also appeared in 90 Day, the last resort where they sought therapy to fix their relationship. Big Ed presented his usual toxic traits of unaccountability and penchant for taking digs. Despite the turbulence, Big Ed and Liz pressed on and moved to Arkansas together, and that was featured on 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After? Season 8. That season, Big Ed said horrible things about Liz's mom and about Liz to both of them while Liz was packing up and leaving their once shared house, which I know further compounded that he is not a good person. Off-screen, Big Ed also has a bevy of sexual assault and misconduct allegations lodged against him. I've watched Big Ed show who he truly is for years, and his continued presence is a blight on the 90 Day Fiancé franchise. What's more, I'm certain Big Ed is in it for clout. I'm positive Big Ed would be a creepy nobody if it weren't for 90 Day Fiancé. Big Ed needs to stay in the franchise to stay relevant. Moreover, the show has allowed him to meet young women, and it perpetuated the sense that the way he acts is okay. I know that without the show, Big Ed would not have become famous, and I've seen him revel in his celebrity. He is a clout chaser, and will pull out all the stops to make sure he maintains a spot in the franchise. He causes speculation about new romances, sells merchandise with his face on it, and I believe he thinks he can do no wrong. It's no secret that 90 Day Fiancé thrives on drama, emotional intensity, and personalities that spark conversation, debate, and sometimes controversy. Over the years, the franchise has introduced viewers to a range of unforgettable characters, from the sweet and naive to the fiery and unapologetic. Yet, among all the colorful personalities, one cast member has been particularly polarizing: Big Ed Brown. While some fans found him endearing and even charming in his awkward, unfiltered way, others criticized his behavior as toxic, manipulative, or otherwise problematic. With rumors occasionally circulating about a potential comeback, I feel compelled to make the case that Big Ed's return would not be a win for the franchise. It could actively harm the show's perception. Let's start with the most obvious concern: Ed's reputation. When Ed first appeared on 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days, he quickly became known for his obsession with finding love, his insecurity about his appearance, and his sometimes controlling tendencies. While reality TV thrives on tension, Ed's behavior often crossed a line into what many viewers considered unhealthy. From his aggressive pursuit of his then-partner to his overbearing personality and sometimes dismissive attitude toward others, Ed polarized the fanbase. In today's climate, where audiences are increasingly attuned to emotional intelligence, boundaries, and respect in relationships, bringing Ed back risks sending the wrong message. The franchise could appear as though it condones behavior that is manipulative or insensitive, and that's not a position it should stake its reputation on. Another factor is the nature of Big Ed's brand within the 90-Day Fiancé universe. Over time, Ed has become less of a romantic hopeful and more of a meme-like figure in popular culture. Clips of him awkwardly interacting with his partner or engaging in over-the-top behavior have been shared widely on social media, often framed as humorous or ridiculous. While this has kept him in the public eye, it also means his brand has shifted away from the serious relationship storylines that the show increasingly wants to highlight. A comeback would likely lean into this meme status rather than genuine storytelling, and it could reduce the credibility of the show as a platform for authentic, relatable human experiences. Audiences want drama, yes, but they also want growth, resolution, and emotional resonance, not just comedy fodder at someone's expense. We also need to consider the impact on current and future cast members. 90-Day Fiancé has increasingly aimed to showcase diverse love stories from around the globe, with couples navigating cultural differences, immigration challenges, and complex personal histories. Introducing Big Ed again could overshadow these narratives. His personality is so dominant, so inherently attention-grabbing, that it risks turning the focus back to him rather than the couples whose stories the audience genuinely wants to invest in. It could also create an uncomfortable environment for new cast members, who may feel like their stories are being compared to or judged against a character with an already established controversial reputation. In short, Big Ed's return could inadvertently diminish the depth and authenticity of the franchise's storytelling. There's also the question of audience fatigue. Reality TV thrives on novelty. While Big Ed made a splash when he first appeared, his story has already been told, and retelling it risks diminishing interest rather than reigniting it. Audiences today are savvy. They crave evolution in both the show and consider the impact on current and future cast members. 90-Day Fiancé has increasingly aimed to showcase diverse love stories from around the globe, with couples navigating cultural differences, immigration challenges, and complex personal histories. Introducing Big Ed again could overshadow these narratives. His personality is so dominant, so inherently attention-grabbing, that it risks turning the focus back to him rather than the couples whose stories the audience genuinely wants to invest in. It could also create an uncomfortable environment for new cast members, who may feel like their stories are being compared to or judged against a character with an already established controversial reputation. In short, Big Ed's return could inadvertently diminish the depth and authenticity of the franchise's storytelling. There's also the question of audience fatigue. Reality TV thrives on novelty. While Big Ed made a splash when he first appeared, his story has already been told, and retelling it risks diminishing interest rather than reigniting it. Audiences today are savvy. They crave evolution in both the show and its cast. Bringing Ed back without a meaningful arc, showing personal growth, reflection, or a substantial life change, would feel like a stunt, a way to chase clicks and social media engagement rather than produce compelling content. And the franchise has built a reputation on genuine storytelling, even if it's heightened for reality TV drama. A shallow or gimmicky return could tarnish that hard-earned credibility. Moreover, Ed's past interactions with fellow cast members have sometimes been fraught with tension. Reality TV thrives on conflict, but there's a difference between dramatic tension and destructive behavior. Reintroducing Ed could reignite old fan wars, online harassment, or toxic discourse among viewers, something the producers presumably want to avoid. The show has increasingly emphasized responsible storytelling, including addressing mental health, healthy relationships, and cross-cultural understanding. Big Ed's return might undermine these efforts by pulling the narrative back toward sensationalism rather than reflection and growth. It's also worth considering the broader cultural conversation around 90-Day Fiancé. Over the years, the franchise has faced criticism for reinforcing stereotypes or exploiting certain individuals for entertainment value. The production team has responded in part by highlighting stories that offer more nuance, empathy, and understanding. A Big Ed comeback could be perceived as regressive, suggesting that controversy and ridicule are more valuable than thoughtful storytelling. In a landscape where viewers are increasingly socially conscious, that perception could have long-term consequences, affecting viewership and brand loyalty. Finally, let's acknowledge that some fans genuinely want to see Ed return. They remember his awkward charm, his relentless pursuit of love, and the unfiltered moments that made him stand out. But nostalgia is a double-edged sword. While Ed's return could generate short-term excitement, it would likely be fleeting, overshadowed by the concerns mentioned above. 90 Day Fiancé has an opportunity to evolve beyond reliance on polarizing figures. By prioritizing new narratives, emotionally resonant stories, and couples who reflect both the struggles and joys of international love, the franchise can maintain its relevance and integrity without leaning on old controversies. In conclusion, Big Ed Brown's initial tenure on 90 Day Fiancé was undeniably memorable, but not all memories are worth reliving. His return could compromise the franchise's credibility, overshadow other cast members, perpetuate unhealthy behaviors, and reduce the show's emotional depth to a source of online memes and fleeting drama. While some fans might initially celebrate a comeback, the long-term impact on the show's perception could be damaging. 90 Day Fiancé has evolved, and its audience has matured alongside it. To honor that growth, the franchise should focus on fresh, authentic stories and leave Big Ed's controversial chapter in the past where it belongs. Some personalities are unforgettable, but being unforgettable isn't always the same as being beneficial. Big Ed falls squarely into that category. 90 Day Fiancé is better off moving forward without him.